What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, two-time unified heavyweight world champion, British superstar boxer Anthony Joshua, and his promoter, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, have now let it be known to all the four major sanction bodies involved, that being the IBF, the WBO, the WBA, the IBO, and on the verge, the WBC, that they will indeed drop all the belts now if they're not allowed to face two-time heavyweight world champion, undefeated WBC superstar boxer, British superstar boxer, fellow countryman of Anthony Joshua, that being Tyson the Gypsy King Fury. If they're not able to face Tyson Fury next, and the WBO hold up their rules and uphold their rules, that former cruiserweight undisputed world champion turned heavyweight undefeated Oleksandr Usyk superstar boxer, who is the mandatory challenger for Anthony Joshua's WBO strap, who stated that he's not willing to take any step aside money. He stated that if he's not given his opportunity to face off against Anthony Joshua, Anthony Joshua must be stripped of the WBO title. And so now Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua threaten that if they are indeed stripped and not allowed to fight Tyson Fury, then they'll go ahead and vacate all the belts. Because what's the point in fighting Tyson Fury on UK soil if all the belts are not involved? They'll vacate all the belts and go ahead and push through and fight Tyson Fury anyway. Well, here's where the contradictions come in. Once again, right? The contradictions come in because Anthony Joshua, in his post-fight press conference, he stated that it's not about fighting Tyson Fury. It's about his legacy and collecting as many belts as possible. He said it's not about the man holding the belt. It's about the belt. So if it's about the belt, then why would you vacate all the belts, trying to put pressure on the WBC, on the WBA, on the IBF, IBO, and ring belt to try to overthrow the WBO and try to get them off their square so that Oleksandr Usyk could be left out. Then on top of it, they don't want to pay Oleksandr Usyk major step aside money on top of that. Okay? So on top of Oleksandr Usyk not getting his opportunity, they don't want to pay him major step aside money. Because according to Eddie Hearn, he's saying, why should we have to pay major step aside money and have to fight a mandatory challenge when we could have this huge payday legacy fight with Tyson Fury? But let's just listen to what Anthony Joshua had to say regarding relinquishing the belts. Should he relinquish the belts or not? When Anthony Joshua stated, it's not about the fight with Tyson Fury or Deontay Wilder. It's not the man with the belt, but in fact, it's the legacy and the belt. Listen to what Anthony Joshua had to say regarding this.
Right, 2019. Look, bro, I started this game in 2013. I've been chasing all the belts. I've been dealing with mandatories. Of course, I want to challenge. It's not about the opponent. It's about the legacy and the belt. Whoever's got the belt, I'd love to compete with them. If that is Tyson Fury, let it be.
So you heard what he said. He said, once again, it's not about the belt. It's about the man holding the belt, right? It's about his legacy. Let's listen to what he had to say once again, just to clarify.
Last year, right, 2019. Look, bro, I started this game in 2013. I've been chasing all the belts. I've been dealing with mandatories. Of course, I want to challenge. It's not about the opponent. It's about the legacy and the belt. Whoever's got the belt, I'd love to compete with them. If that is Tyson Fury, let it be Tyson Fury.
So you heard what he said. He said it's not about the man holding the belt. It's about the legacy and the belt itself. It's not. It has nothing to do with who's holding the belt, right? This is what Anthony Joshua had to say regarding the situation with him and Tyson Fury, right? That is simply about the belts. Has nothing to do with Tyson Fury. As I continue to tell y'all, it's simply about the man holding the belt and not the belt itself, right? But you let them tell you, right? They'll tell you it's not about that. It's indeed about the belts. But let's just listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say regarding the belt situation. Because see, once again, I told you when Deontay Wilder had the belt, things were a lot different. They weren't so eager. They weren't so persistent in making an undisputed match. Now Eddie Hearn is saying everything is about undisputed. But when it came to Deontay Wilder, little things like giving him a rematch clause, they weren't willing to do for undisputed match. At that point in time, they were still only one fight away from being undisputed. But now they're trying to pull a wool over OLEKSANDR Usyk guys, and they're trying to have Tyson Fury wiggle out the trilogy match with Deontay Wilder. But let's just listen to what Eddie Hearn had to say regarding this situation.
We have a fight on our hands, and sorry to the governing bodies, that eclipses all belts. And we just got to be a little bit careful, because you may be on the verge of going, do you know what? Let's just get rid of politics right now. Let's just drop all the belts. Because if we lose one belt, we might as well lose them all.
And then you have to pay sanctioning fees.
Exactly. And step aside. So, it gets to a stage where you've got the biggest fight in world boxing. You're paying each governing body hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Now you've got another guy who probably wants seven figures to step aside. So we just got to be careful, because ultimately the aim of this fight has always been to be for the Undisputed Championship. When Anthony Joshua came into my office many years ago.
So now he's saying the goal was ultimately for undisputed. But when it was Deontay Wilder, the goal wasn't for undisputed. The goal was at the time to get as much money as possible. Now they want to get rid of politics. But when negotiating with Deontay Wilder, and when the opportunity presented itself for undisputed, they did everything in their power to limit as much revenue that Deontay Wilder could earn. They did everything in their power, to diminish Deontay Wilder's credibility, when this was an undisputed match and they were both undefeated and they were both at the top of their reign. Neither one of them had a loss, but they wasn't so eager as they are now to make an undisputed match. Now everything is about undisputed, isn't it? And now they're saying that, see the contradictions? Anthony Joshua said it's not about the man, it's about the belt. It's not the man holding the belt, it's about the man, it's about the belt itself and the legacy. But Eddie Hearn is saying something completely different, is he not?
We have a fight on our hands, and sorry to the governing bodies, that eclipses all belts. And we just got to be a little bit careful, because you may be on the verge of going, do you know what? Let's just get rid of politics right now. Let's just drop all the belts. Because if we lose one belt, we might as well lose them all.
And then you
So he said, if we lose one belt, we might as well lose it all. We got the biggest fight on the verge of happening between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. So you want Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, then you're saying you'll drop all the belts and pursue the Tyson Fury fight without the belts. But Anthony Joshua is saying something completely different. Listen to what Anthony Joshua had to say once again.
Last year, right? 2019. Look, bro, I started this game in 2013. I've been chasing all the belts. I've been dealing with mandatories. Of course I want to challenge. It's not about the opponent. It's about the legacy and the belt. Whoever's got the belt, I'd love to compete with them.
So it's not about the opponent. It's about the legacy and the belt. Whoever got the belt, that's who I'm chasing. But when Deontay Wilder had the belt, they weren't so persistent about making that fight. They offered him a flat fee of $12 million with no rematch clause. Then they offered him $15 million with no rematch clause. Then they say you should fight Dillian White first. They had all these stipulations. But now Eddie Hearn is saying, hey, for this fight, we need to do away with all the politics. But the politics was what played the part in not making the Deontay Wilder fight. When Deontay Wilder accepted the $12 million flat fee and the $15 million flat fee and said, all I want is an immediate rematch clause and the roles reversed should I win the fight. And this being the same Eddie Hearn that stated, I will never let any of my fighters that are world champions go into any world championship fight without a rematch clause. And the holdup between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder was the fact that Eddie Hearn was unwilling to give Deontay Wilder a rematch clause. Now we see that Oleksandr Usyk, who stated that Derek Chisora had no padding in the gloves, he informed Eddie Hearn, and Eddie Hearn told him, well, that's an issue that he had to deal with because he had the opportunity to wear the same gloves that Derek Chisora wore. And then Oleksandr Usyk stated that when he got to the ring, he realized the ring was significantly smaller than what they agreed upon, coming to the understanding that they wanted to give Derek Chisora, who's not as mobile as Oleksandr Usyk, not as light on his feet, and Derek Chisora is on the downside of his career. They want to give him every possible option to be able to win the fight. Because if Derek Chisora beats Oleksandr Usyk, they don't have to worry about the WBO upholding a mandatory challenge for Oleksandr Usyk and Anthony Joshua. Instead of, they put the carriage before the horse. They signed a 2-fight deal for Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua in 2021. But now Tyson Fury is going into mediation. He's going to court with Deontay Wilder for the trilogy match. And now Anthony Joshua is going to have to honor the mandatory challenge in Oleksandr Usyk. They just honored their mandatory challenge in Kubrat Pulev. Ironically enough, Eddie Hearn co-promotes Oleksandr Usyk, but he wanted to give Derek Chisora every possible option to be able to be successful against Oleksandr Usyk, thus removing Oleksandr Usyk from the equation, and they could push forward with their part of the Tyson Fury Undisputed Showdown. See how that works? The contradictions continue to pile up and pile up and pile up some more. So let's see how this all unfolds. That's all I got for y'all. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share the videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.